The phone that's being sold in stores even before the official launch. The phone that's probably the worst kept secret of 2018. The phone with a notch that's as steep as its price. Yeah, the Pixel 3 XL is finally here. It's official now. You probably think you know everything about it, but let's unbox the Pixel 3 XL to tell you what you don't know and give you our initial impressions about Google's latest flagship, coming up next on TechPP.com. Hey guys, this is Sumu from TechPP. Before we unbox this year's camera beast from Google, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. Let's crib about that notch now. The box has the rear side of the phone printed on the front, just wondering why, along with the Google branding, while the side shows off the power button in an orange hue. The back of course has the Team Pixel hashtag, and that's pretty much it. Getting through the seal on either side, you're greeted by the phone itself, which is not pink. I mean, not pink is what Google's actually calling this color. We then have the SIM ejector tool and some documentation, then followed by the new Type-C Pixel buds in its own enclosure, a USB Type-C to Type-C cable, an OTG adapter, a headphone jack dongle, and finally an 18-watt fast charging brick. An important thing to note here is how quick the booting is on this phone. And yeah, a new boot animation as well. Let's now get back to what all of us are actually interested in. The Pixel 3 XL has a 6.3-inch 2K POLED display on the front with a notch that's unusually sized. You've seen the notch on a ton of smartphones this year, but this one will take some getting used to. Inside that notch resides the earpiece, sensors, and two front-facing cameras rated at 8 megapixels each, out of which the primary camera is an f/1.8 lens for normal shots, while the secondary sensor is an f/2.4 lens for wide-angle selfies. The bottom chin is quite huge, and that's mainly due to a front-firing speaker which works in tandem with the earpiece to produce stereo sound. As mentioned earlier, the right side houses an orange-colored power button which isn't textured, and the volume rocker is below that. Left is bare, while the bottom has a SIM tray and the Type-C port. The back has a typical Pixel look with glossy glass on the top and a matte textured soft glass for the rest of the back. Unlike Pixel 2, which was plastic coated over aluminum, this one is Corning Gorilla Glass 5 with a frosted coating in pink. One needs to touch and hold this to appreciate the texture. It's kinda like the Silk White OnePlus 6, but softer. There are two more color options if you're interested, just black and clearly white. Unlike on the front, the rear houses a single 12.2 megapixel camera with an f/1.8 aperture with both optical as well as electronic image stabilization, pretty much like the one on the Pixel 2 last year. The video recording maxes out at 4K 30 FPS, which is strange given most flagships these days come with support for 4K at 60 FPS. The fingerprint scanner can also be found here, and it's placed in a position where your finger would naturally rest. Here are a few camera samples to check out, and we'll let the images speak for themselves. There's no headphone jack this time round as well, so you will have to use the supplied adapter to plug in your existing earphones. The Type-C port though is USB 3.1 compliant, which means faster data speeds as well as power delivery, and it's not something we see on every smartphone, hence a special mention. There's also support for 10-watt wireless charging, by the way. The Pixel continues to support single SIM with support for eSIM in select markets. At the heart of the Pixel 3 is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset coupled with 4GB of RAM and 64 or 128GB of internal storage. The software, it's the first time I'm saying this in an unboxing video. The phone runs Android 9 Pie, and being a Pixel device, you will receive at least 3 years of updates on this phone, that is 2 years of Android updates, followed by a year of security patches. Other features include a 3430 mAh battery, Active Edge, which basically triggers Google Assistant when you squeeze the phone, 3 mics for better sound cancellation, and an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance. There is more to the Pixel experience than the specs rundown we gave above. Google is trying to wow the users with things like live wallpapers, which peek out even on active display. Just pick up the device and see the screen come alive. This is sort of a big deal considering all the drama surrounding the display on the Pixel 2 XL last year. This new one, at least on the first look, is damn gorgeous to say the least. But does that warrant a hefty price tag of Rs 83,000 like we see on the box? Well, let's wait for the in-depth review coming up next week. Until then, may the tech be with you.